Hello everyone and welcome to WGBS TV Live, brought to you by SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. In this, our January 15th, 2019 show, we're going to be covering a range of topics including Reign of the Superman, the upcoming Supergirl episodes, rumours about animated movies and so much more. We'll also be opening the lines to ask you your questions, see what you want to talk about tonight in this episode of WGBS TV Live, and to let you know how all that works and how you can get involved in tonight's show, both either on voice or by text. Here's my good friend. I was going to say my new friend, I don't know why. We've been old pals for a long time. Michael Bailey. Well, hey, Mike.
You mentioned that, and it's funny because you and I both posted on Facebook recently to do that whole, like, your 10 years ago picture. Us from the 2000, I cropped the picture of you and me together at the 2008 Superman celebration, and you posted a separate one. So, I thought, it's been, wow, almost 18 years this year will be my 18 year with the Superman homepage. So, crazy. But we're not here to hug each other, which we could do. But we're here to talk about Superman. And since WGBS Live is all about Superman, we want to hear from Superman fans that are watching live on Facebook. So around the halfway point, and if we don't have much going on, which, wow, it's been busy lately, we'll start taking your calls. To do this, you'll need Skype. Get on Skype. Find SupermanHomepage.com and message that you'd like to join us. Wait for us to reply, and we'll try to get you on the show.
Yeah, just trying to get there. It is. Put a graphic, and you created a new graphic. I was just trying to get the switch off which one was, so I could block me out while you're there talking about it, showing people how to get involved with Skype, and put up a little bit of a explanation there as a text thing. But so that's that done. Let me get myself back in the screen now. And don't forget that everyone listening in, watching in via Facebook, we have a comment section there on Facebook. Get involved, ask us questions, comment on what we're talking about, and Michael and I will keep an eye on that to react to what you're saying in text form on Facebook throughout the show. And a huge thank you to our sponsor and patron, Douglas Meacham. We appreciate your support. Well, Michael, it's another busy week in the world of Superman. Heaps to get through, a lot on the docket, as you like to say. Reign of the Superman was released digitally today. It's also the couple of days since the weekend where a lot of screenings took place around the world at local theatres. A double feature, Death of Superman, Reign of the Superman, back to back. I was fortunate enough to go with my wife to see that on Sunday afternoon here, and thoroughly enjoyed it. I have my issues with it, with the Reign of the Superman side of things. It was really, really well done. Loved certain things. My newsletter that I sent out on yesterday or earlier today, depending on where you are, is basically my review of that. I know you're going to be doing a review when the Blu-ray comes out. You didn't get a chance to see. Did you download it digitally yet?
No, because when I buy the Blu-ray, I'm going to get a free digital download, so I didn't want to pay for a download and then pay for a Blu-ray. It's just... But, no, it's funny. I think I am the only Superman fan in existence right now that has not seen this film, with the way everyone's talking. But it's just how it fell. We couldn't get to the theater this weekend, but I am really excited that so many people got to see it, and it really feels like there's, like, this overwhelming feeling of, man, it was great, but... And it seems like everyone has, like, little... And I haven't really done a deep dive because I haven't seen the film yet.
Sure.
But it just seems like people have certain problems with it, so now I'm curious what mine will be.
Yeah, well, Mike Zumo in the comments hasn't seen it yet either, so you're not Robinson Crusoe. There are other fans out there who have not seen it as yet. But without giving spoilers away, so as such... I thought it was really well done. You know, you got Superboy, you've got Steel, you've got Cyborg Superman, you've got the Eradicator, they're all there. You've got the relationship with Lois and Clark and the whole secret identity thing, which is a really great part and very important part of the story and really well handled. You've got the Justice League's involvement in this because it is part of that Justice League animated universe that we've already seen so much of to date. Their story and the way that they're kind of inserted into it is really well done. I'm really impressed with how the Justice League is handled in this animated movie. I guess my one complaint would be the way the Eradicator is handled and his involvement in the story, and it's a pretty important one in the comic book side of things, and they kind of don't use that the way I think it should have or could have been used, and I think the Eradicator was wasted in many ways in the grand scheme of things.
It's kind of hard. Like, how do you set that character up in a universe where you don't have the history? I could see where that would be a problem, because I vividly remember, over 25 years ago now. Wow, that's depressing. 0 hours turning 25 this year. Being really excited when it was revealed that the Eradicator was the last son of Krypton, because I remember that device being introduced, and I remembered all the stories that he took place in. So it felt like, wow, I was on the ground floor, and when the reveal hit me, how do you do that in the movie? With as little time as they had to establish that. So now I'm kind of interested to see that.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, they kind of make Lois the hero of the story in many ways, which is fitting for this story and the way that the relationship is being developed. And I love the scenes between her and Martha and Jonathan Kent in this story, with the whole death of thing and her learning about his secret identity and all that kind of stuff. That is really well played out. It's very emotional in many respects. As I said, there were just a few things that kind of felt a little bit off, but overall, I'd probably, give it a 4 out of 5. I highly recommend it. Definitely well worth seeing, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how later on this year they combine both the Death of Superman and Reign of the Superman into one long version with extra footage and extended scenes that were not shown in this version released to date.
Yeah, called it.
Yeah, you did. That's right.
I'm not smart. It was obvious. They did it with The Dark Knight Returns. But the extra footage, I think, is the interesting angle on this. The first film was like 80 minutes. This one's probably around 80 minutes. So now you're talking like, wow, it's going to be almost like a 2.5 hour. I can't do math right now. 160 minutes. That's almost 2.5 hours of animation. That's wow. That's going to be exhausting.
And it was interesting. The theater that I was in, there were maybe about 10, 12 people in total, and so that was a little bit disappointing. But I kind of expected as much. It wasn't really well advertised, and it wasn't like there was signage around anywhere or posters inside the theater. There were a couple of fans with t-shirts on. Superman, Batman t-shirts, that kind of thing. But it was, you played the Death of Superman, and then there was like a 5-minute intermission, giving you a chance to go to the bathroom or go get some refreshments or whatever, and then there's a little countdown clock in the corner of the screen telling you when it was, about to start, and then, the Reign of the Superman started straight after that, and it was long, and I was surprised that my wife sat through it, because she's kind of, hard to get interested in these kinds of things, and having 2 back-to-back movies of an animated format, it was engaging. So I think hats off to the guys at the guys and girls at WB Animation for pulling this off.
Yeah, I think they more than made up for the fact that this isn't what they did in the first place.
Yeah. So, and as I said, they're going to release a combined Death of Superman, Reign of the Superman, which made me think of the book, the novelization, the Death and Life of Superman, with the symbol there from the cover of the novelization, which has me very excited to see what they do with that once they do release it later this year sometime.
Yeah, I'm hoping for more kind of supplemental features. It'd be really hard for them to beat that Requiem for a Superhero from the Superman Doomsday movie. But it would be really neat to kind of get the band back together to a certain extent in terms of interviews and talk to Mike Carlin and Dan Jurgens and John Bogdanov. They had the one on the Death Blu-ray that was good, but it's just I kind of want to see more, like do more of a deep dive into the history of the comics and the story it came from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a couple of people in the comments saying they didn't realise it was being shown outside the US in a double feature format. Yeah, it was in the UK they showed it. Here in Australia, Event Cinemas it was in some of the more local ones. I watched it in a Palace Theatre in Leichhardt here, and it was in other ones similar to that. So just those small kind of refurbished, local cinemas rather than the big chain cinemas here in Australia. But nevertheless, you mentioned this one last week. There is a rumour going around that they might be adapting the Superman Red Sun story in animated format maybe in 2020, with maybe an announcement coming from Warner Brothers Animation at Comic-Con this year in San Diego. A lot of people, when I posted this report, saying, nah, I'll give this one a skip. I don't want to see Superman as a communist. I want to just see the classic Superman. It's just like, this is a really great story. Mark Millar's story is not just Superman as a communist. It's actually kind of pretty in-depth and a pretty... I mean, it's gained legendary status as one of the greatest graphic novels going around in recent times. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, me too. If it happens, it's one of the few Mark Millar stories from the 2000s that I actually like, because I feel like he is overly snarky. And his Lex Luthor is way over the top in being the smartest guy in the room. But the point of the movie, or the point of the story, isn't that Superman's a communist. It's that no matter where he lands, he's still Superman. And it was the things they did, the changes they made, the whole, kind of Cold War angle to it, the way Batman was treated. I mean, if you're going to do Batman Gotham by Gaslight as an animated film, there really isn't another Superman Elseworld story, unfortunately, that is, let's just face it, it's good enough to make an animated movie about. Some of them are fun, some of them are really weak. I don't know if I'd want to see a Speeding Bullets animated film where Superman's Batman, but that's an easy sell. I'm surprised they haven't done it already, frankly. But no, this is a chance to do something different, and it is disingenuous to say we want more Superman animated movies, and then when they announce one, go, I'm giving this one a hard pass. It's like, no, you can't. I'm not saying you have to support everything. I'm not saying you have to like everything. I'm not saying you have to go to everything. But if you're going to say that you want more Superman animated films, and they take one of the seminal stories from the past 20 years that always pops up on best of lists, give it a shot. I mean, I'm looking forward to it if it's the case. I at first actually thought that they were going to do it as a live action movie, and I'm like, that's weird. But then I saw that it was animated. I was like, oh, okay, that makes perfect sense, you know. And it'll be great to have, see some actors doing their funny Russian accents.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be interesting to see who they do cast in the voice roles for this. Some reactions to some comments. People in the comments, someone saying that Mark Millar didn't make any comment about this on Twitter. He actually did react to it and said, I hear that they're doing this, but it doesn't really say yes or no whether he's involved or whether he knows officially. But he did make a comment on it. Also, someone asking, someone else saying that's the only Mark Millar story of Superman that they liked. I really liked Mark Millar's run on Superman Adventures. He had a great run.
It was excellent. A lot of it's getting out in trade paperback now. If you want some really fun, done-in-one Superman stories that really not only capture the spirit of the animated series, but are good comic books as well, I cannot recommend them enough. It staggers my mind that the guy that did that went on to do Ultimates and Kick-Ass and what's that other one? Wanted, and all these other dark, dystopian, ultra-violent things. And here he is doing these fantastic Superman stories.
Yeah, we're interested to see if this one does go ahead, so stay tuned. We'll keep you posted if any news drops one way or the other. Alright, the only other movie news we have is Zack Snyder, yes, that man once again, released a movie poster image, or an image of the Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition poster, a high-res version of this poster. It's a lovely image. It was, if you've seen it before, that's because it was released as a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive poster. Some fans at Comic-Con back in the year back that this was released were able to get this poster, but it's really been the only time that it's been released online in a high-quality version. So that was released this week by Zack Snyder on his Vero social media account.
Okay, it's basically going to be like, hey, here's Henry Cavill eating a Subway sandwich, on the Smallville set. I mean, I'm glad that people are excited about it. That is a boring poster.
Yeah,
that is a seriously boring poster. It's everyone looking right.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's that was that poster. That's an image that you can find on our website if it tickles your fancy. Now, I did the second one of my S-Files videos recently, and it was all about Supergirl's secret identity, because we've been discussing the fact that in the upcoming return episode of Supergirl after the mid-season break, Colonel Haley is going to be on a witch hunt for finding out Supergirl's secret identity, and we were like, what? Surely everybody at the DEO already knows. It's not like it's a secret anymore. And if you haven't seen it, go check out on my YouTube channel, the Superman Homepage YouTube channel, the S-Files video on Is Supergirl's Secret Identity a Secret? And there is proof there, proof positive. I found clips where Supergirl, in her Kara Danvers persona, is in the DEO, and she's saying out loud, not in whispered tones, not in any kind of conversational tone, but out loud, actually yelling to Mon-El in one circumstance, that I am Supergirl. And everybody at the DEO is there walking around within that main room of the DEO when you're flying from that window. So the interviews that Colonel Haley is going to be doing, she'll be finding out like that.
Yeah, she's like, so does anybody know who Supergirl is? Like, all these hands start shooting up. And Alex is slinking out of the room.
There's another clip in my video there where Wynn, at the time of season 2 or 3, has his computer where he's able to track. They're looking for the other, Rain and the other Kryptonian beings, but they're not showing up on his tracking system. Only Superman and Supergirl are showing up because he's able to track their heat signature or whatever it is. But the world killers didn't show up as the same kind of heat signature. So they already have the technology to be able to follow Supergirl wherever she goes. So when they find her at her apartment as Kara Danvers, hello?
Yeah, it's one of those things where you really have to forget 3 seasons worth of television for the storyline to work out. And, I'm not saying that it's a bad story to tell, and I like that they're playing up the secret identity angle because, for a long time there, everybody in the cast knew who she was. Mm-hmm. It was just, and I like that because then it kind of removes some of the angst that can come with that. But the cat's out of the bag.
Pretty much, and that's the graphic image there for the YouTube clip, Is Supergirl's Secret Identity a Secret? The S-Files is a new feature that we're doing here at the Superman homepage from time to time when I've got something I want to rant about. It will be up under that flag, so go check it out on YouTube. Alright, well, let's push on, and speaking of Supergirl, the upcoming episode, Suspicious Minds, airs January 20th, so not long, couple of days away, and we have a second promo video for that, which looks at the whole secret identity thing. So check it out.
I need to speak to you about Supergirl.
She's on a mission to find out who Supergirl is.
Someone must have seen something that's a clue to her secret identity. Supergirl is an annoyance.
not much of a mystery, really. She's saying, I'm going to unravel this Supergirl secret identity mystery. But anyway, we'll see how it plays out. We'll see. Maybe there's something, where the people at the DEO are kind of pro-Supergirl and they're all tight-lipped and no one's saying anything. And so, but we've already know that there's been one person in the DEO who, switched sides, joining Agent Liberty. But, wait and see.
What if it's revealed that John's been kind of wiping that information from agents' minds as things went on, basically?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. We never know. He's been pretty reluctant to do much of his Martian mind melding stuff, but we'll wait and see. But people are asking some questions about Supergirl. When will John Cryer come on as Lex? No announcement yet. We know he's coming on in this second half of the season, so we'll wait to see when he does turn up. But we will continue to play out where this is going, especially the alternate Supergirl, Red Supergirl, whatever she is you want to call her, the Russian Supergirl. That's got to play out as well. So looking forward to seeing Suspicious Minds, the next episode of Supergirl, airing January 20th. And then after that, episode 11 of season 4 is titled Blood Memory, not Bloody Memory, Blood Memory. And we have the description for that. I'll read that for you right now. It says, Kara joins Nia on a trip to Nia's hometown to visit her family during the town's annual harvest festival. While home, Nia's mother encourages her daughter to embrace her destiny. Meanwhile, Alex deals with a street drug that is turning people violent and giving them temporary superpowers. Sounds like something Lena might have been involved in.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the family sitting around the dinner table there, and we also have some other images.
So do people do harvests in like March? I mean, harvests are usually like fall events.
Don't know.
Could be wrong about that. I don't think I am.
Yeah, so there's some interesting images. Looks like the back of the Kent farm there. Could be.
I'd be down for more Kent Farm stuff.
They could have just decided while they were already on location to film some other scenes back in the day, but we'll wait and see. So that's where they're going. Supergirl episode 11, Blood Memory, on January 27th. Okay.
John Van Pelt's asking about the evil twin. Are we gonna see her again? I think they just kind of released a teaser image of that, didn't they?
Yeah, she landed in Russia, so they're going to be doing some kind of a Red Sun thing themselves. They're adapting that story. And talking about adaptations, it seems like they're really milking all the Elseworlds type of graphic novels and other stories in the Superman universe, with the revelation that they're going to be doing the Action Comics 775 story, What's So Funny About Truth, Justice and the American Way, with another casting announcement that I'm going to really eat his name here, but Louis Zawa Chengqian will be playing the Hat in an upcoming episode. Now, if you're wondering who is the Hat, well, he's another member of Manchester Black's The Elite. This is Lewis there. That's the actor who will be playing the role. And the Hat, and that's from the Superman vs. the Elite animated movie, is another member of the Elite. He's a young Japanese man who gains invulnerability and the ability to breathe fire as a result of being merged with a demon. The Hat's hat serves as the primary conduit of his power.
Yeah, I was not surprised. I mean, if you're going to have Manchester Black, you might as well bring in the other groups, the other members of the group. The funny thing to me is the Elite was making fun of the Authority, which was a Warren Ellis created book that was basically kind of a take on DC concepts and put through a quote-unquote realistic filter. So Joe Kelly sees this, and we're going back to Mark Miller, sees this and goes, well, I'm going to do a commentary on that, does it, and now it's 18, 19 years after that issue came out, and it's like these characters exist, but no one has any context for who they are. It's kind of fascinating, actually. But I was not surprised. I mean, they had a picture recently that he's got the purple hair. Manchester Black will have it. So, I guess they are trying to mine all of the... It was like the writers' meeting. It's like, okay, somebody get me CBR's top 100 Superman stories of all time. We're just going to just pull stuff from that. So...
Yeah, I mean, people have, I guess, complained quite a bit over the years that Supergirl has just mined all the great Superman characters and stories, and there are obviously she has her own stories and characters and villains and things that they could and have pulled from. Rain being the World Killer being one of them. Not that was a classic in any kind of regard, but
legendary, Steve. Legendary.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll wait and see. Manchester Black will return. Menagerie has been cast. Now the Hat. Who's the final member of the guy with the dreadlocks?
Cold cast?
Yeah, something like that. He will be, I guess, the next one we'll hear from, I imagine.
During the break, I'm gonna check that, because if I remembered that name, I'm really kind of mad at myself, because everyone loves that story, and I just don't have the love for it that I guess everyone else does. And
Anthony in the comments asking us, do we think Kara should be renamed Linda Lee in the show? Well, Linda Lee doesn't make sense. Linda Danvers could have easily been a name that they could have used instead of Kara, because that's just another red flag as to who Kara Zor-El and Kara Danvers being one and the same. But nevertheless, that's probably a little bit too late. That ship has sailed, I imagine. But in other Supergirl casting news, Jonathan Bennett, best known for his role as Aaron Samuels in the 2004 Mean Girls, will be making an appearance on Supergirl in an upcoming episode. He's going to be in episode 14, so a couple of episodes down the track, which will be titled Stand and Deliver. And he broke the news via his Instagram account, posting this image of himself on set. Oh, get rid of Manchester. So that's him there, and it says, according to TVLine.com, he'll be playing the role of Quentin, a wide-eyed government attaché who is grateful when Supergirl saves his life. However, when he shows his true colours by attending an anti-alien rally, Supergirl aims to prove to Quentin that not all aliens are bad.
Wow, he does look like an FBI, like a government agent, doesn't he? That's a good costume. Very good.
Just turned up in his business suit.
Brad in the chat says that he's surprised that Comet hasn't appeared. I'm actually surprised. No. Hear me out.
Okay, go for
yes,
it.
The original Comet is insane. That's one of those things about Supergirl that if you're a fan of the Silver Age stuff, you probably have good things to say about it. I read a bunch of them, and I'm like, wow, this is the weirdest subplot ever. But I'm talking the Peter David take on the character.
Yes, okay.
Where it was a woman who's a lesbian that becomes male when she becomes her angel character. And that would be kind of fascinating to see them play with, actually.
It wasn't a pretty interesting take on the Comet character. It was very sexual in a lot of ways. There was a lot of sexual tension there.
Yeah, it had probably one of the most startling scenes of the entire series, where it goes into her backstory and how she came to be Comet. And I know that there are diehard Supergirl fans that don't like Peter David's run on the character, and I totally see that. Cause, yeah, and that's the thing, is being a post-crisis guy, it was my Supergirl, so I'm kind of more predisposed, but I can see where classic fans of the classic character would be kind of put off, but that might be worth it for the TV show.
So we'll wait and see what's going to happen there with Supergirl, but we'll leave that there and go to our break. We're just over the halfway mark of tonight's program, so we'll take a quick break and then come back, talk some Young Justice Outsiders and comic books, and more right after these messages. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. If I can find my button. Here we go.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. Superman Homepage.
Oh, that outfit's adorable. I think it's time to have some fun at Burger King. Yeah, that sounds great. What are you watching?
Superman fighting Brainiac?
Could you turn it down?
Cool new Superman toys are now at Burger King. You can get one with every Kids Club meal.
Well, what have we here?
Whoa. Burger King Kids Club. Great food, cool stuff, kids only.
And we're back on WGBS TV Live. Before the break, I mentioned that we're going to be talking about Young Justice Outsiders. Now, sadly, neither you or I, me because I'm not in America, and you because you just haven't subscribed to it. But Young Justice Outsiders is a show that I would love to be able to watch. Unfortunately, the third season is only available on that digital streaming service. But 6 episodes are available to date, with episodes 4, 5 and 6 having been released this week, and they were titled Private Security, Away Mission and Rescue Op. And by all accounts, a lot of people are absolutely loving it. I saw one comment on Twitter today where someone was saying Young Justice is better than Batman the Animated Series.
All right, slow your roll. No, it's again, I'm hoping next month, if certain things end, certain shutdowns, you might say, and certain things go through the way they're supposed to, that I'll get to subscribe to it. I'm glad people are enjoying it. The app's big launch was Titans, which you have that now if you're Netflix in Australia, right?
I do, but I haven't had a time to start watching it. But I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, the thing I think people forget about these shows is that they take time to watch, and there are other things going on in the world.
That's right.
I mean, if I got paid to sit there and watch stuff on the DC app, believe me, I would do it. But I'm just kind of excited that people are excited. I think too much in the fan community, as we keep banging on about week after week. There's just too many times where people are just negative for the sake of being negative, or seem to hate everything. So to see people actually kind of excited about that this new season is going on, and that they're liking the story, I'm excited by proxy, I guess you could say.
Yeah, for sure. Now, we also know that as of January 18th, so later this week, the next 3 episodes will be available. And according to DC Universe, they are titled, and I've got some images to show here along with them. We have, just finding those here. We have episode 7 is titled Evolution. Aliens once again threaten the Earth, but with the Justice League split and scattered, only Earth's first and greatest hero can save us. Wonder who that is. Episode 8 is titled Triptych. As metahuman trafficking spreads across the United States, 3 very different teams of heroes seek to put a stop to it. And we also have episode 9, which is titled Home Fries, and that says, the description reads, the light has hired an intergalactic assassin, but who is the intended target? So those are the 3 episodes that will be available, episode 7, 8 and 9 on January 18th, or from January 18th, on the DC Universe digital streaming service, and we can see the image there of Superboy in part of that episode. So looking forward to hearing comments from fans as to their interest and their reactions to these episodes once they do air, or once they are available for download.
Who's the guy in the hockey mask? Is that Sportsmaster or is that Wild Dog? I mean,
Maybe somebody who's watched it. I know that a couple of people in the comments are saying that they've watched all 6 episodes, so maybe there's some help from that direction. We'll wait and see if anyone comments as to that question. So that's Young Justice Outsiders, and the only other TV news that we have is that 3 Smallville stars will be appearing at the Wizard World Cleveland convention in Cleveland, Ohio. We have Tom Welling, Michael Rosenbaum, and John Glover all attending the event, which will take place in March, across March 8th, 9th and 10th. Tom and Michael will be available on the Saturday and Sunday, while John will be there across all 3 days, and it will be held at the Huntington Convention Center in Cleveland. And if you want tickets, you can visit wizardworld.com. And people in the comments have answered that yes, it is Sportsmaster.
Okay, I thought so, but I just wanted to make sure, because Wild Dog on Arrow, I think, is enough Wild Dog in extended media.
And no, Alison Mack will not be in attendance. In the break, you said you were going to be doing research on the Elite guy. Did you do that?
Oh yeah, I did say that, didn't I?
Anyway, you can do that while you kind of.
Yeah, I can fake it. You just got to see I'll have some cool lighting on my face as I do that.
All right. Well, moving into the comics side of things, firstly, Anthony in the comments is asking any news on the Supergirl movie reboot. No, nothing as yet. We did announce a couple of months ago that they had said that they were going to concentrate on a Supergirl movie. There has been no news forthcoming on that. I guess it's going to be a while. These kinds of things, you get an announcement. They probably haven't even got a director signed to it yet, or a script, or anything like that. So, kind of watch this space, I guess.
Coldcast is a member of the Elite. That is the only one they haven't done yet.
There you go. All right. So, in comic book side of things, I was really pleased to see this news. It was announced that Action Comics 1000 was the best-selling single comic book of 2018.
That's not super surprising. I keep using super as a verb, as an adjective on this show. I really got to stop doing that. I'm not surprised because there were so many covers, but it does seem to be a book that people really wanted to get. Like, for historical reasons, they wanted to catch Bendis's first story, whatever.
Yeah.
It just seems like it was something that was actually a legitimate success beyond the marketing gimmick of the multiple covers.
For sure. And the accompanying graphic novel, Action Comics 80 Years of Superman, reached 5th place in the top 10 graphic novels of 2018. So that was another pretty impressive milestone.
That one deserves it too, because it was a really solid book.
For sure. So yeah, good news that Action Comics did so well in 2018. As you said, it's no surprise. The 1000th issue, Bendis being his debut at DC Comics, and the multiple covers that you were able to get. But it's great that Superman did top that list. That shows that people are still interested in the character. So we're really pleased about that.
Absolutely.
All right. So this week, speaking of Bendis, his first issue of Young Justice #1 was released. The new Wonder Comics line at DC Comics, which will include Wonder Twins and other characters aimed at younger readers. Our reviewer Keith Sumrug gave this issue a 5 out of 5, and saying that he was really impressed with it, and it was really handled well. And Superboy Connell is there, so what's not to like about the return of that character?
Yeah, it's funny because I was really excited about this, and then, the first issue came out, and I realized about 5 minutes before we recorded tonight that I didn't read it yet, and it's just like, why am I not, like, jumping up and down about this? I will have comments on it for next time, but I guess I'm kind of scared because Young Justice was a very specific book at a very specific time. And Peter David, the way he wrote those characters, it became one of my favorite titles month after month. And I was really bitter when they canceled it to give us, the grim and grittier Teen Titans revamp, which was a solid book. But I don't know, maybe I'm just afraid you can't go home again, or I'm not going to like the characters, or if something's going to bug me about it. So, I mean, I'm glad everyone liked it, so it makes me more likely to do it, but it's almost like I'm scared to read it.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. It was a pretty solid read, and in the comments, Brad's asking, is it canon with the regular books? Yes, I believe it's in continuity, so we will have two Superboys. We'll have Cornell and we'll have Jonathan, and we will talk more in next week about the return of John in Superman number 7, which is out this week, and there's been an age increase in his character, and it'll be interesting to see what they do and how they'll, kind of deal with the fact that there are two Superboys in the universe who are both of teen age years.
Yeah, and I was really thinking about that. John has a lot of fans, not only in the chat right now, but just in general. It seems like people really accepted that character for who he was, and the idea of Superman having a son and exploring that. But when I read that he's going to be like 17 years old and they've aged him, I think maybe that was the best idea, because I think he's got a shelf life as a character being a young kid, being 10 years old. Mm-hmm. There's only so many stories you can tell with that, and seeing him grow up, I think, would take too long to get to those stories. So maybe having him go off and kind of jump up a little bit in age. I mean, good luck explaining that, Clark and Lois. To your friends, it's like he had a growth spurt. But I just wonder if this is maybe the best thing they could have done for the character, because maybe it would have been one of those things where he kind of peaked in popularity and then just everybody just kind of lost interest. I mean, look at my example is the Batgirl of Burnside. When they revamped Barbara Gordon as kind of more of a quote-unquote millennial, that had great reviews and sales went up, but it was like a year or two later, it kind of petered off, and it wasn't as popular because it wasn't the new thing anymore.
Well, a couple of people disagreeing with you in the comments, respectfully. But maybe it's a subject for a poll that we could run on the Superman homepage as to whether our fans wanted John to stay 10, 11, or whether they're happy for him to be aged 5 years or whatever it is, what the case may be, 17 or whatever he is now. So we'll have to wait and see how this goes, and we'll run a poll about the aging of Jonathan and see what fans across the board think, not just the listeners live here on this show. But speaking of comics coming out this week, here is what is available this week from DC Comics if you're a super fan. And we have Supergirl number 26 is available this week, and it's also available in a variant cover, which we've seen before because it is being used as the basis for a statue that will be coming out later this year. We also have Superman number 7, which we've been speaking about, What Happened to Superboy's Lost Years. That is out this week. People are asking, who's that Superwoman? That is Lois Lane. You may remember that Superman gave her a costume to use while she was away, and that will be explained in this particular story. That is available in a variant cover as well. So that is out this week. Also, second printing of Heroes in Crisis number 2 is also out this week. And then we have some trade paperbacks, a very DC Valentine's Day trade paperback, And Supergirl Volume 5, The Hunt for Reactron, is out in trade paperback this week as well. So that is the week for superfans.
That's a good week for superfans, actually. I am really looking forward to this next issue of Superman. I realize that I am now in the minority, apparently, with thinking the way I do, but I'm really kind of interested to see where Bendis is going to go with this. And basically kind of, it's interesting how many sacred cows he seems to be not kind of going after, because Jor-El as the bad guy was kind of already done. That was done, back in, when they had the whole Mr. Oz resolution be revealed. But now kind of having him be, for lack of a better term, like truly crazy. That's going to be kind of interesting to see.
Yeah, indeed. What is it with the L brothers? You had Jor-El's gone crazy. Zor-El became, a cyborg Superman. It just is it these scientists in Krypton are just gone nuts?
I think it has to do with there's a classic story in Superman number 200 that was an imaginary story where what if Superman had an older brother basically, and they had to fight to see who was going to be the Superman of Earth. Maybe it's just there's something bad about the elves. I don't know. Something
in the air there or in the water.
Yes, it's the Ruby Falls. It just does weird things to them.
Anthony in the comments remind me that Hawkman will be reliving our past life on Krypton this week in this week's issue of that particular title. So if you're a completist and you want to go to that extent, then Hawkman might be something you might be interested in reading. And Tina commenting about the Red Cloud in Metropolis, and the fact that Superman has escaped his notice. While Superman has superpowers like supervision and hearing and everything, he doesn't necessarily. It's not like everything's on his radar all the time, other than maybe Lois and her heartbeat. It's the fact that he's not aware of them up until now, so it's not like he's ever been needing to look for them. So I guess it's just like us. Unless we're actually tuning into something and aware of something, it escapes our notice because it's just not on our radar. But if you're looking for something and you've got superhearing or supervision, then that comes in handy.
Yeah, and it's what it's kind of like is the Court of Owls over in Batman,
right?
Which they introduced at the beginning of the New 52. That was a group that had been messing with Gotham history for as long as Gotham was Gotham. So how did Batman not notice him? Just wasn't on his radar.
Yeah.
He was dealing with other things. Plus, I think to a certain extent we've got to kind of accept the fact that there are going to be threats that Superman doesn't see. We need new bad guys for him to face. And just having somebody start up in Metropolis, I think there'd be kind of a weird. I don't think that would work as well, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
And it's interesting because that is pretty much a major plot line in Reign of the Superman, the animated movie, and Hank Henshaw's belief in Superman and the fact that Superman doesn't come to save them when their spacecraft is in jeopardy. And is a massive motivation for him once things go awry there in space. And Superman just can't be everywhere at once. He can't do everything for everybody. So it's just one of those things that the character does have limitations.
Yeah, and I think we're better off for it, really.
Yeah, for
that
sure.
He does have those limitations.
Exactly. It makes for more interesting stories. And in an interesting story, a study in real life was done in the US. ScientificAmerican.com reported on this, where a study group of people were brought in. Some were taken into a room that had a Superman poster in it. Others were taken into a room that had a bicycle poster in it. And the study was done to see whether or not seeing an image of superheroes would actually make people want to be more heroic or more socially aware or socially, what's the word they used here, pro-socially or altruistic in their actions after having been put in a room where, you know, an image of a hero like Superman was put in front of them. And it showed that, yes, indeed, people are more inclined to be more heroic or more helpful once they do see a Superman image or are exposed to images of Superman.
It doesn't surprise me. I find when I'm out in public and I'm wearing like it's winter now, and it's Georgia, so it's cold every once in a while, and I'm wearing my Superman hoodie. You know, I just feel like, I don't know, it's not like I have to go fight crime, because that would be a really short career. But just little things like, you know, giving somebody directions, or, you know, helping somebody if they're having a hard time carrying something to their car or whatever. It's just one of those things. I feel like if you're out there sporting the S, you have a responsibility to live up to that. Yeah. And maybe I'm crazy for that, but that's just how I feel.
No, I'm with you 100%. It annoys me whenever I see news stories about someone committing a crime and they were wearing a Superman hoodie or they were wearing a Superman t-shirt, and it's like, what? You idiot! And on the other hand, I'm like you, you know, it kind of, you know, not just my upbringing and my faith and other things that have made me who I am, but as a Superman fan, yeah, if I see an old lady struggling to get her groceries in the car or whatever, I offer her to help her, or, you know, those kinds of things. It's just part of who we are as Superman fans. It's just, I think we're better for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the little random acts of kindness and all that. Though, just you saying somebody committing crimes dressed as Superman, and this is not really associated with that, but the DC Multiverse line of action figures, you know, the really nice kind of 6-inch ones.
Yes.
They released the images of the Bizarro one. He's in the packaging backwards.
That is so funny.
I am so enamored by that. So it just made me think of that maybe it was Bizarro Superman committing those crimes.
Very funny. There you go. So yeah, that was an interesting study, and if you want to read the full report, scientificamerican.com is where you'll find it. Now, on an interesting one, we don't talk about the DC superhero girls phenomenon much on this show, but we do report on it every week on the website. It's obviously aimed at young girls, mostly young children, and they've just recently relaunched a new look, new character designs designed by Lauren Faust, and there's been some little bit of backlash as to why there wasn't any need. The character designs were fine. Some people are not really that happy about the new designs, but it is what it is, and they'll be doing a new TV series of shorts that'll be on Cartoon Network, I believe, or maybe the DC Universe streaming service, but they'll also have some online animated shorts, and here's a look at these super shorts and the episode titled The Late Batsby. I want to show you the new designs.
The Late Batsby. That's cute.
Tell me something exciting is happening. Indeed it is. Mr. Freeze is causing mayhem downtown. Mr. Freeze?
Nice to meet you.
Are you kidding me? This is amazing! Oh, my dad's still awake. And he doesn't know I'm Batgirl. Can you just please wait a few minutes till he falls asleep?
Wait? I respect your ambition to defeat a worthy foe, but we have far to travel, and innocent lives are at stake.
Yeah, and we're not missing out on all the fun because of your dad.
You guys, you cannot fight Mr. Freeze without me.
I am sorry, Batgirl. Supergirl, Bumblebee, Zatanna, Green Lantern, and I must act now. Time is of the essence.
No.
So there you have it. That's just a bit of the episode available online. The late Batsby about Supergirl wanting to go out there and help Wonder Woman, Supergirl, and the rest of the gang help stop Mr. Freeze, but she's not allowed to leave home until her dad's asleep because he doesn't know that she's Batgirl.
Wow, somebody's been really watching other Cartoon Network shows. Because I am not on board with Supergirl in that. That's weird. I don't understand. I really just don't. I agree with Brad in the chat. That's more like Power Girl.
Fair enough. Not for everyone. Well, that is what it is. It's available and will be available with more episodes in the coming weeks. We'll keep reporting on them for you as they are announced. But that pretty much brings us to the end of tonight's program. So I want to thank everyone for watching WGBS TV Live. Thank everyone in the comments on Facebook and your reactions to what we've been talking about. And to you, my co-host, Michael Bailey, thank you very much.
Pleasure as always, Steve.
And a huge thank you to our sponsor and patron, Douglas Meacham. Now, if you want to sponsor the Superman homepage, please head to patreon.com/Superman homepage. You can sponsor the website for as little as $3, but if you want to get mentioned on this show, it's a $20 patron sum, so we really hope that you'll get on board. And want to thank John Patrick Van Pelt's sister, Megan, for coming on board as a sponsor. We'll talk more about that next week. Now, the complete 1 hour video of tonight's show will remain available on the Superman homepage website and our Facebook page if you'd like to watch it back or perhaps miss part of the show. But Michael and I will be back next week on Tuesday, January 22nd at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for another edition of WGBS TV Live. Look forward to talking with you then. Until then, be sure to check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. I'm Steve Eunice on behalf of myself and Michael. Thanks for watching WGBS TV Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com.